to the 1 ampere of current. If 2 ampere of current means 2 time of it. Say that you made is 2 into this much number of electrons. If they are crossing any section of conductor, we are saying that 2 ampere. So far we have studied that two types of definition of 1 ampere of current. So on the basis of if 1 coulomb of charge crosses across a given section of conductor in 1 second, that amounts to the 1 ampere of current. Similarly, on the basis of number of electrons, say that if 6.25 into 10 to the power of 18 electrons crosses across a given section of conductor in 1 second, that amounts to the 1 ampere of current. So now, so far we have seen that SI unit of electric current is ampere, is it? So SI unit of charge is coulomb. SI unit of time is second. You are already familiar. In first year you have studied that unit and dimension. Now I would like to discuss that this definition is hold good when the current is steady flow, when the electric current is steady one. So steady one means the rate of flow of electric charge across any section of a conductor, they should be steady. They should not vary with respect to time. Such a current is known as the steady current. So this expression is hold good for steady current. So that means that electric current further for your convenience, say one is the steady current, steady current, another is the unsteady current. So unsteady current. So one is steady current, another is the unsteady current. So what is the steady current? If the rate of flow of electric charge across a given section of conductor in every second is constant, is same, or rate of flow of electric charge across any section of the conductor is same or independent of time, that is nothing but the steady current. And that it won't fluctuate. I mean the rate of flow, amount of flow of charge per second, it should be remains constant, should not vary with respect to time. Such a current is known as the steady current. Now for the steady current, this expression is hold good. Whereas the unsteady current, in order to define the unsteady current, if the rate of flow of electric charge vary with respect to time. So in that case, you have to use this expression instead of using that. This I is equal to dq by dt. With this expression, we can define that this expression is hold good. This expression is hold good for unsteady current. This expression is hold good for steady current. So now we have seen that electric current. Further, it is classified into steady current. If the rate of flow of electric current is same for all time, such a current is known as the steady current. If the rate of flow of electric current is vary with respect to time, then such a current is known as the unsteady flow of electric current. For unsteady flow of electric current, I is equal to dq by dt. This expression is full. For steady flow of electric current, you have to use this expression, I is equal to q upon t. With this expression you have to use whenever you require. So let us see, we would like to discuss about the important bit of this topic is this chapter, that is Ohm's law. So Ohm's law is a basic law in current electricity. So G.S. Ohm in 1828 he discovered a formula, he discovered a law which is known as the Ohm's law. So Ohm's law, the question is that what is the use of Ohm's law, what relation we are studying in Ohm's law, etc. would like to discuss in this topic. So as you know that Ohm's law, it tells the relation between electric current and potential difference across the ends of the conductor. See, that means that in Ohm's law you are studying the relation between electric current and potential difference across the ends of the conductor. So Ohm's law. So in Ohm's law, we are studying relation. What? Relation between I and V. As you know that I stand for electric current, V stand for potential difference. So with this outline, we can able to generate the odd statement of the Ohm's law. So you may ask a question like this: state and explain Ohm's law. So if it is the case, so in order to generate the statement, this relation is very useful. How this relation is useful in designing the statement of Ohm's law. See, the strength of electric current, strength of current, I mean the strength of electric current, where it flows through the conductor. Strength of electric current through the conductor, strength of current through the conductor is directly proportional to PD between its ends, provided temperature and other physical conditions remains constant. Remains constant means remains same. They should not alter. See further, what it say that? See the electric current. So as you know that you consider for the explanation point of view, say this is an AB is a conductor. Is it? Say that the flow of electric current is solely depends on the potential difference which you are going to apply across the ends of the conductor. Say if for first case you are applying that PD of you can say that 1.5 volt, is it? In the second circuit you are applying the PD of what you can say that 3 volt. So my question is that in which case electric current is more electric current is flowing, the first circuit or second circuit? See, in the first circuit applied PD is only 1.5. In the second circuit applied PD, I mean that potential difference is 3 volt. So as the potential difference goes on increases, the strength of electric current is also increases. That is what the strength of current is directly proportional to the strength of electric current flowing through the conductor is directly proportional to the PD between its end, provided temperature and other physical conditions remains constant. So I mean that that is what is said that content of this is I is directly proportional to V. As potential difference increases, current is increases. As potential difference decreases, current is also decreases. That means that strength of electric current which is flowing through the conductor solely depends on the potential difference provided. So what happened that temperature of this conductor and physical condition of this conductor, they must be unaltered. They should not change. If it is the case, you will find that I is directly proportional to V. This expression can also be rewritten as V is directly proportional to I. We can write it I is directly proportional to V or V is directly or vice versa. So since this expression is associated to a proportionality symbol, you have to eliminate it. In order to eliminate it, you have to take a constant of proportionality. V is equal to I into R, where R represents the resistance of the conductor. R is the resistance. So what is the resistance? Resistance of electrical resistance of conductor, opposition offered by the conductor for flow of electric charges. So R is the nature of material. Some material they are easily allow the charges pass through it. Some are slowly allow. So that means that electrical resistance, it depends on the nature of material as well as dimension of material also. So now, this is what the mathematical expression of Ohm's law. This is we cannot basic law. We can't call it as a fundamental law. So in Ohm's law, as you know that G.S. Ohm in 1828 he formulated a law which is known as the Ohm's law. In Ohm's law, you are studying the relation between current and potential difference. So according to Ohm's, what it says that, so the strength of electric current or magnitude of electric current flowing through the conductor solely depends on the potential difference, provided temperature and other physical conditions remains constant. They should not change. If these physical conditions are temperature and other physical conditions remains constant, then you will find that I is directly proportional to V. That means that as potential difference increases, see in this case, in the first case, potential difference is 1.5. As a result, you will get 1 ampere of current in this circuit. Say 1 ampere of current is generated. In the second case, you are increasing the potential difference from 1.5 to 3 volt. As a result, current is also increasing. That means that current is, as the potential difference increases, corresponding to that current is also increased. That is the meaning of this expression. This expression can also be written as V is vice versa. V is directly proportional to I. So since this expression associates with the proportionality symbol, you have to eliminate it. V is equal to I into R, where R is the resistance or electrical resistance. Electrical resistance is nothing but the opposition offered by the conductor for the flow of electric charges. Now let us see, there are some limitations of Ohm's law there. So where see in the statement itself is one limitation as is imposed. The temperature of the conductor it should not change. Then and then only we will find that voltage is directly proportional to current or current is directly proportional to voltage. Otherwise, this law is not applicable. I is not directly proportional to V. If the temperature is varying with respect to time, so this law is I is not directly proportional to V. So that means that this Ohm's law applicable only for only at constant temperature. Limitation of Ohm's law. Ohm's law is application limitation. Ohm's law is applicable. First limitation, it is applicable apply for constant temperature, constant T. Second is that, so especially this Ohm's law is meant for metallic conductor. So second is Ohm's law applicable for metallic conductors. So what about the non-metal? What about the semiconductor, etc.? So that means that Ohm's law is not applicable for semiconductor, electron tubes. Ohm's law is not third. Ohm's law is not applicable for semiconductors, discharge tube, etc. Okay, I want to conclude.